out there in front of everybody because your book sales are in jeopardy. How are you going to make these women buy this solution you got to sell them? If the man is asking her a question and asking her to show her authority of what she says, and she's sitting there not knowing what to say. So, best way to do it is not let the man talk anyway. And ain't that where we at now? You wonder where men want to go? Sometimes when a man gets pissed off, he don't want to say shit. A man don't feel, he thinks. You want to solve a problem? He thinks. He shuts the fuck up. You talk and yell because you want to hear him back say something. He walks out the door. You see? We never talk. Because I don't want to say shit now. Respect my space. Best thing for me to do is to go figure out what you said. Then come back with some answers. But just to go up on this emotional tangent back and forth, we ain't getting shit done. That's what makes me say that we get away with not answering questions at the moment that need to be said. We shucking our responsibility and we fucking over with money and we not doing what we supposed to do as men. And they got a right. They got the right to bitch and moan. But if it ain't like that, sister, and Diana Van Zandt gives you an excuse because she's giving you words to try out, she's giving you things to try, don't fuck around with your man with these dumbass women. Because you lose him. The relationship is between the two of you all, not with these jackass on television. Not with these women with these bruised psyches actually gonna tell you what to do with your man. It's bullshit. We got 10,000 therapists, and 10,000 goddamn therapists are out there, and divorce rates are the highest they've ever been. How smart are you? Divorce is sky high now, and we got 10,000 jackasses telling you what to do. And 99% of them are white, Jewish, female psychologists that they always get to come on the show. And we have an authority here, and we have the psychologists in behavioral things. Well, if you do this and just listen and get the fuck out of here. I'm so sick and tired of that bullshit. Aren't you sick and tired of it? I'm sorry for getting so raw, but we inside the room here, we good to go, we one-to-one, we people. And this is how we got to do it. This is how we got to empty out here. I'm thinking about getting a men's group together, and the first thing some of these men are talking about, well, when will we be able to bring the women in and sit up? What the fuck are you talking about? Wait a minute. Hold it. I remember when we went to the gym, and if we wanted to just get out our shit, come back, sister's got a man who went out, bang, thump, went to it, boom, came back with some bruises, maybe limped a little bit, but felt good. But now, ain't no place for men. Because now the women came in and said, we're equal. We want to come in here and play basketball and do all the shit you do. But where do I run? Where's my cave? Where's my fortress of solitude? They were even inside of the gym with the professional basketball players after the game. While they swinging and taking a shot when they want to interview. If I was to go inside in your dressing room after you just finished whatever ballet class you did, and I want to interview while you butt naked, soaping your ass. How dare they? And these dickless men let them do that. They let these women do this thing. Now you ain't got no place to go that is your own. You got the Women's Basketball Association. Good Lord in heaven, after you've seen Michael Jordan, what else is there to see in basketball? You take these women who are perverted from birth, who go through this hormonal destruction, grow up to be these giants looking like men, acting like men, doing like men, and these are the new heroines or heroes that they're going to push to your sisters, your little girl. And now they got a commercial with this little white girl going toe-to-toe with Michael Jordan? Yes, I can! Yes, I can! And you all suck that up. And they take your idol, your person, a true hero, one who was a real warrior, and have him flipping over the back of this little white girl. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you. The perception of a man is no longer valid. He is no longer at the home. They even changed it on you in the IRS classifications. There's no such thing as head of the household anymore on the IRS forms. A head of a household constitutes whoever's in there. Matter of fact, head of a household is for single people only now. That particular conference that they had in Beijing, China, was to change the classifications of gender. And it destroyed mother, father, son, daughter, because they think those are class distinctions. And they ain't got nothing to do with reality. Well, now you're going to live with it. I've been telling you this for 10 years, and I'm talking to you all out there. Y'all think I'm crazy? They call you the radical weird. They call me mad because of the way I think. Well, look at everything that's happening now. Our symptoms have 175% rise in gynecological diseases. You think that's an accident? Huh? It's no accident. Little girls are having their menstrual cycles at 8 and 9 now. You think that's an accident? No, it's not an accident. Sisters are bleeding for 4, 5, 6, and 7 days. They're hemorrhaging. This is not your menstrual cycle. This is not your period. You're hemorrhaging! I asked the question. If you were to sit down to pass your bowel, and you stood up, and there was blood in the toilet, would you think something was wrong, sister? Oh yeah. If you wake up from your pillow, and you go to the mirror and you see blood trickling down your nose, would you think something was wrong, sister? Sister, if you sat down to urine, and your urine came up and found blood in your urine, would you think something was wrong, my sister? Then what's so right about bleeding 3 and 4 and 5 days? What is the logic in believing that that's something different? Do you think that the body is making blood just for that? That's your blood. That is you. Do you realize that in a year, a woman can bleed, on average, enough blood to make a whole person? Well, we're mature faster. No, you're aging faster. See, different. You're not maturing, you're aging faster. And then when you hemorrhage for at least 30 years of your life is bleeding out of you so that you stop reproduction long before I do as a man. Because I damn sure can shoot cartridges until I'm 90. I got buckshot for your ass all the way up to 90 years of age. Why is that? You think that's real? You think that's healthy? Why is it that you cannot have a child at 40 and 50? What is this shit about your biological clock? The only age that you're having right now is solar age. You spin around the sun for 365 days. Does not constitute the factor for aging. That's nonsense. And we're going to get into that right after these messages. Okay, I want to kind of just finish up, just to capitalize, now that we're back, dealing with the theological colonization of consciousness, bringing that full circle. Religion has a hold of your mind. Religio means to bind. So essentially you are being replicated by religion, and freedom of consciousness, freedom of conscience, all relegated, all regulated. Theo, meaning God, theological, of God. Theological, meaning putting logic to God. The church, religion, all of these things have nothing to do with who you are as God. It's making you believe that God is a vicarious experience, that God is a second-hand entity that that is someone that you need to achieve, that you are not part of that particular aspect, that you are not worthy because you have sinned, and that the only way that you can deal with your sin is to be forgiven through the church. Now, over the past few days, I've been accumulating information that has to do with the church, talking about religion being the big lie, and religion as it stands today, again, it's supposed to be Christianity, is based upon Catholicism, and religion as a big lie, the Advent, the figure BC 4, they say, and this is the date of Advent going down the Christian calendar, BC 4, the birth of Christ, like they say, 30, the probable crucifixion of Christ, that's the year 30, 100. Now, when you say BC, that's before the confusion. That's when we were dealing. AD, that's you think Adam dominating? No, it's after the delusion. So you have to deal with the fact that these dates of these cycles, AD being the time when Christianity entrenches itself in your brain or in your consciousness. Bishop Irenaeus wrote 5 volumes entitled The Destruction and Overthrow of the Falsely So-Called Knowledge. In these 5 volumes, he speaks about why all other information having to do with God is all false, even those that came before the so-called Bible. Tertullian, one of your founding fathers, who was actually a black man, Tertullian, Cyprian, and Augustine, were 3 Africans who were essentially the founding fathers of so-called Christianity, and he says, he declares anyone who denies the resurrection to be a heretic. That's the resurrection of Jesus. Hippolytus attacked Gnostics and the Indian Brahmins as being heretics. Hippolytus wrote the refutation of all heresies. The crucifixion of Mani in 251, the founder of the Manichaean sect of Persia, he was crucified because he was a heretic. He didn't believe in the church. In 500, the Gnosticism under Merlin, King Arthur, and Queen Guinevere, last attempt to reconcile the evil essences, decision to destroy the planet in future taking. Celtic church driven westward to Wales by the invading Christian church in the early 5th century. Just bringing it down real quick. In 904 AD, Pope Sergius III begins the era of pornocracy. Check it out. The darkest period in the history of the papacy. His mistress, Marzia, becomes the mother of Pope John XI. From 931 to 936, the aunt of John the 13th and the grandmother of Benedict the 56th. Now, you're supposed to be having sex as a pope, but there's a book that you need to go and check called Unzipped. Unzipped. And I didn't name it awful, but it's just one type of name, and it tells you all about the pornocracy. The pornocracy was the Borgias, and all the different, talk about moon, screwing dogs and pedophilia, the whole 9 yards that the popes were doing. That the nunneries that you see that were set up were actually the whorehouses, and that the women were actually set in such a way that it was still happening, because when I went to Catholic school, I remember Barbara's been telling me that they would find fetuses outside the convents, and that there was big orgies going on. So, ain't no big thing. We know all about that. We get some of the good things. In 1229, the Inquisition of Toulouse forbids Bible reading by all laymen. The Pope, in 1233, entrusts the Dominicans with the Inquisition. So your Dominican nuns and Dominican fathers and priests were all the legacy of the Inquisition. Anybody know what the Inquisition is? In 1252, the Inquisition begins to use instruments of torture. The papal bull of May 15, 1252, authorized the inquisitors to seize the goods of heretics in Italy, to imprison them, torture them on conviction, and put them to death. All on the barest of evidence. Papal bull ad extra panda by Pope Innocent I placed inquisitors above the law. Every ruler and citizen was to assist them under threat of excommunication. In 1302, Papal bull Unum Sanctum pronounced his highest papal claims to supremacy. Boniface VIII, temporal powers are subject, says that temporal powers are subject to the spiritual power. It is altogether necessary for the salvation of every human creature to be subject to the Roman pontiff. In 1499, the Spanish Inquisitor General Francisco Jimenez de Ceneros, who lived from 1436 to 1517, introduces forced mass conversions of the Moors, thus causing great Moorish revolt in Granada. In 1501, the burning of books against the authority of the church was ordered by the papal bull. Now, imagine now, this is where Christianity started. And they'll tell you, a lot of Christians, and this is what blows my mind, a lot of myopic Negroes will say, well, those weren't real Christians. Oh, you're following everything that they laid down for you. They weren't real Christians. They're throwing shit out that you're doing. Start afresh. Show me what a new Christian is without all this bullshit. Tell me another name for your faith. Because they're the one, this is the one that was given to you by the very same people that you're pimping all of your gratuities, you're pimping all of the things that you received from the legacy of pain, suffering, genocide, murder, rape, theft. That's the legacy of Christianity. In 1543, first Protestants burned the state by Spanish Inquisition. Publications on the revolutions of the celestial orb by Copernicus. They burnt Copernicus' book of the revolution of celestial orb. But you know, Copernicus was studying Moorish science. Well, that's an idea. Just to give you an idea of what happened going on with Charlemagne told the Celts that you have two choices. Become Christian or death. Yes.
Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ. What constituted the BC and AD? What was the point of this?
Well, you got to remember that the idea of who Christ was never established. They say he was born in 4 BC. Around that time. They don't even know when he was born. Other than they have 2 or 3 dates for him. But they give it at that time. The church set the precedent for the establishment of Christianity via their establishment of the year 1. This whole year is a fictional year. It's based upon a Roman calendar. And you got to remember that they screw up everything, because they're going to screw up everything. You figure October is supposed to be what? Oct is what? Number 8. But it's the 10th month. You figure September is what? Sept is what? 7th. It's the 9th month. December is from Deca, which means what? 10. But it's the 12th month. It's screwed up. Everything about your calendar, everything that references your time zone is all been messed up by the Roman calendar, Christianity. So you have the 2 different types of times. You have the Gregorian time, and I forgot the other time, if you'll help me out with that. The 2 different types of times that we're working on. And these are what the computers are running on in your Y2K. They're running on 2 different time clocks. That's why things would start to happen sometime around June, July. And I was told that sometime around June, If they want to get certain things fixed, certain satellites fixed, that's why they set up that rocket. It's an emergency satellite that they're setting up there. Hopefully to start triggering or to act as the relay to bypass the satellite that they have up there, which is the global positioning system. That's supposed to come down in August the 22nd. The Navy is taking that down. Now the global positioning system is what flies over the airplanes, what guides all the boats on the sea. Once you bring that down, then they have to go back to World War II instrumentalities. But, where was I? I got so many things to tell you. Y'all like the incense? Yeah. Nice, right? Yeah, you don't like it. This is the Aryashinka. It's pure, it's non-toxic, smells good, man. The place is almost lit up. Anyway, your Y2K bug is shooting up the, you got to read, look at Cassini? You should see what number that comes down to. Yeah. So, I mean, it's all in there. It's all set up in such a way. The Y2K problem that you have. Let me get back to you as far as what you would ask about the church and Jesus. The time frame reference that they set up was structured in order to establish a legitimacy to their Christ. Okay? They needed to retrofit the information that they were now preventing from all of what they had stolen. So they began to retrofit the information and give a timeline and a specific date for their Savior to be born. Now, long before 325, most of the writers at that time that the church used as Christian writers didn't mention a damn thing about Jesus Christ. All they were mentioning was the same kind of Redeemer that the Peloponnesians were talking about, the Chaldeans were talking about, the Kemites, the Kemetic were talking about, the Babylonians, the Sumerians. All of them had this particular redemption myth that was based upon the return of the Son. And that December 24th is when the Son reached its lowest descent in the sky. And then at that time, from December 21st, the Sun goes down to its lowest portion of the sky. And it stays there for 3 days. I mean, you could clock during your winter solstice, you could clock the Sun going south. You can see it going south in the sky. As it reaches the 21st, it gets to a point and just stays there for 3 days. It doesn't descend any further. Those are the 3 days that God was supposed to have died and then resurrected. That's the Son of God resurrected. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is cosmological. So what they were doing, they were borrowing a lot of the cosmology from the different civilizations that went before them. Now, after they had compiled everything, they began to set the stage for destroying everything else that made reference to where they got Christianity from. This was the point of the Crusades. The Crusades was for the purpose of not only robbing and stealing, but it was for destroying all of the ancient information. And even Archbishop Chrysostom said that all traces of the old religions and the old philosophies are gone and destroyed. That's what he thought. Hundreds of thousands of instruments, serious instruments, telescopes, microscopes, engines, all these things were taken out of the middle of the sea and buried, dropped on the sea. They sunk the ship with all these things. Napoleon was given instructions to go over and to conquer and to Christianize Egypt. But when he saw all these, this face of this Sphinx, this black woman, the Sphinx is not a white man, like they showed you in Prince of Egypt. The Sphinx was not even a man. The Sphinx was older than the first dynasty. The Sphinx was there long before even the Kemetic left. It was buried up to its head. insane. It was excavated. No, it was just a woman. The head of the woman representing Virgo, the body representing Leo, and the conjunction. If you look at the Sphinx, it's facing the Tuat, or the celestial duo. And in there, the stars, it's so deep that in front of the Sphinx is staring straight into where the sun comes in conjunction with the sign of Leo. That's where the Sphinx is staring at. And in that sign of Leo, that's where the soul, and they show you which planets you go to be judged. And the whole map of the sky is a map of how the soul goes through specific doorways and thresholds to be judged based upon how well you managed the encompassing of life and how you used your life. Did you use your portion to enhance who you are? But it is not a judgment to condemn. It is a judgment in the condemnation to send you back into the flesh. It is the weighing of the heart with the feather of the eye. Your heart must be lighter than the feather if you are to go on to the next consciousness time zone. So all of what you're watching is the initiation of the soul. And that's what the Sphinx is looking at. It's looking at the place that the soul goes to. And it is the female principle because it is at that place that Virgo and Leo come together. So the head of the woman was Virgo, the body was Leo. But then Napoleon drew the face up. And if you look at the picture of Manetho, when Manetho went into, I think it was either Manetho, who was the one who drew the picture? Was it Manetho who drew the picture of the Sphinx? And it was in Dr. Ben's book? But if you look at it, the picture is not of a man. The picture is of a woman. You see? Yes.
How did it tell who drew the face of Joseph?
Because Manetho drew the picture. No, he drew it before. He was one of the Greeks that went through Kevin. And when he was drawing the picture, he drew his face as it was. Big, thick lips, big, broad nose. He wasn't exaggerating. He was raw what he saw. But when he went there and he saw, when Napoleon saw there, and he was supposed to destroy all vestiges of any kind of semblance, he lined up 21 guns and blew off the face of the Sphinx. That's where you get the 21 gun salute from. And blew off the face of the Sphinx. Now, in the metaphysics of evil, just to touch that, to close that subject, evil is essentially the solidification of matter to the point where it encases the soul so that the soul forgets its true inheritance of life. It becomes so caught up in the survival mechanisms of the body that fear now motivates its every action. Fear or defense or fight or flight was something that was initiated in us, triggered in us, because we didn't care about dying. So if we didn't care about dying, the flesh wouldn't want to go on. It would be constantly there for this, oh, eat me, lion, I'll be back, you know. The idea was to set the specific spark apart from its memory of who it was. And in so doing, the solidification of atoms, the solidification of molecules into the denser and denser form that we have now, caused us to become so involved, here's the word, involved within this particular matter dynamic construct, that we really believe that this is all we were. We got caught in the illusion of the flesh that this is all we are, and we are trapped here, and that is the evil. It is the ignorance that we are now functioning in that causes us to do all of the things that we do that hurt us, that causes our pain, that causes our confusion, that causes our madness. The evil now can be taken advantage of by a few demi-urges or demigods.